Hello, friends, and
Hi.
welcome to the Cinemondo podcast with Kathy and Burke. Mark is was abducted by aliens. Did you hear about that?
He's
He
always doing that.
he got abducted. I read it on the internet.
Definitely true.
Abducted by
Yes.
aliens.
Yes, definitely true. That's a great
But
poster back there.
oh, that's Evil Dead. Evil Dead 2 poster, and it's autographed by Bruce Campbell and Sam Raimi over here.
I love Bruce Campbell. He's so funny.
He wrote "groovy" on there.
Of course, that's his catchphrase. All right, so Netflix has been really good about doing cool Indian content. They have series, they have movies. So we have some new Indian content on Netflix. This is Netflix India. So
Oh,
I'm not
okay.
sure exactly of the availability in America, but it probably will transfer over there soon enough. So we want to
Yeah,
cover this because they do some good stuff.
I think you can access this stuff. I've watched a bunch of things
Yeah.
on Netflix from
Oh yeah.
India.
Yeah. So this is a new one called Khakee, the Bihar chapter. And it's a new film and it's about apparently inspired by true events.
Oh,
It's based on Amit Lodha's book. It traces the birth of a super cop, the birth of a super villain, and their ultimate clash. Dun, dun, dun. So it's
wow.
cops and the mafia. So
Crime drama.
you can't keep me away from mafia movies. It's just
Right.
too good. So I'm very excited.
Shall we roll that trailer?
Let's roll it. I'm very excited to see what this is. All right.
I'm going to mark it.
Okay.
Oops. Okay, now I'm going to mark it.
Okay.
पुलिस और क्रिमिनल दो बिल्कुल अलग लोग अलग अलग रास्ते से खुलकर आमने सामने आ गए थे।
डॉक्टर जरा देखिए इसका ब्लड रुक नहीं रहा। हम अभी कुछ नहीं कर सकते। पुलिस कैसे ही? हम ही पुलिस हैं। Power doesn't corrupt people. People corrupt power. In short, I want to make a difference and not a small one. ये हम ठीक नहीं कर रहे हैं।
सर हमको पता है ठीक और गलत का मतलब है हाथी चक्कर
अगर अन्याय
Whoa.
के खिलाफ आवाज उठाना अपराध है तो हम अपराधी हैं।
नया ड्राइवर कुछ ज्यादा ही हॉर्न बजाता है।
ये ऑनेस्टी, बिना पक्षपात के हिम्मत और बहादुरी की सब पुलिस डिपार्टमेंट का बहुत महंगा गहना है। इसको रोज रोज नहीं पहना जाता है।
कि छोटा जेल तोड़ करके निकले थे और अब एक बड़ा और खुला जेल में आकर के फंस गए हम लोग।
सर आईपी से थोड़ा हम भी जानते हैं, बहुत घटनर क्रिमिनल के वाइफ हैं।
इंडिपेंडेंस डे
Oh.
15 अगस्त से पहले हम शेखपुरा को चंदन मतों से आजादी दिलवा देंगे।
अगर एक बाप की औलाद है ना तो सामने आके चिता जरा।
मौत तो आज होगा। सिर्फ मौत नहीं, मौत का नाच होगा। आपको ट्रांसफर
Harsh.
कौन सा डिस्ट्रिक्ट देना?
सेंड कर दिए।
बुद्धा की धरती की परती पर रुकल बंदूक यहाँ बुतरू से भी क्या मजाल की जाए निशाना चूक यहाँ ठोक देंगे कट्टा
jeez.
का पार में आइए ना हमरा बिहार में हमरा
डरे हो लगे हो चंदन। तुम्हारे डर का सिर्फ एक ही अंत है। हम 15 अगस्त से पहले शेखपुरा से तुम्हारा पितागिरी कराएंगे या फिर दुनिया से। जय राम जी।
Wow. So it's a Netflix series. That makes it even juicier.
Yeah.
So
That
it's
looks
directed
pretty
by-
intense.
Yes, it looks really intense. It's directed by Bhav Dulia. And the thing I love in movies like this is I love the clash between the rural and the big city. They always
Yeah.
have that. And then that classic story of like, who's really the bad guy here? Like, there's so many
Right.
terrible, corrupt cops in these films. And you see that and you're like, it looked like some cops are doing some bad shit. And so you're like,
Yeah.
maybe the mafia guy, he's bad, but it's sort of that, is he kind of like KGF, like Rocky, where he's like committing crimes and terrible acts in the higher pursuit of justice in a way, but it's taking crime into your own hands kind of thing.
Yeah, it's a vigilante thing. It's a superhero thing. I mean,
Yeah.
the idea is in reality, we
Mhm.
don't like it when people take the law into their own hands and they become the judge and the jury and they prosecute the crime right there on the spot.
Yep.
That's not the way we do things
It's not the way we
supposedly.
do things.
But when we watch movies, where Superman or Spider-Man does that kind of stuff, we're like, yes,
Like, do it. Take that guy out. I know.
Yeah.
You want to see criminals get killed, but at the same time, cops should not be killing criminals. And a lot of times they're not killing the criminals. They're just killing people that are competition, or they're killing someone
Yeah.
who is witnessing them doing corrupt things. And the thing is, they have the law on their side. So when have the cop against the villain, who are they going to believe?
Right. Yeah.
So they're, in a way, that guy's kind of screwed.
Yeah. And that
Just
becomes like this moral dilemma when you watch the movies that have that kind of ambiguity in there, where it's like, who is the criminal, who is the hero,
yeah.
and how can you really be a hero in certain situations without also being a little bit of a criminal and going against the common good of your society? You know what I mean?
Exactly. And it's especially when when the police are corrupt, it's sort of a lawlessness that's happening.
Right.
Because in a way, you have to obey the police, even if he's doing something corrupt.
Right.
You have no
Yeah.
power. The bad guy, you can fight back a little bit, except he may overpower you. It's kind of a Vikram Vedha thing.
Yeah.
But the thing that looks really good about this, the actors look especially great. Like
Yeah.
the actors, it says it stars Karan Tacker, Avinash Tiwari, Ashutosh Rana, Anup Soni, Ravi Kishan. All these guys look just like top notch, very
Yeah.
authentic, really, really good. So
Yeah, it looks like it's a few degrees into stylized action and stuff like that, but still enough reality to pull me in and want to watch it, because it looks like a real crime drama of real people. There's no bulletproof actors.
There was no
Shooting
slow
people behind
motion
them.
leaping, and it did look more grounded for sure.
Right.
It did, and that's what I liked about it too. Like, I feel like I'm seeing something that's got a little more reality to it, which I don't mind a good action picture, like a Tom Cruise slow motion, whatever.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I also like to see down and dirty, gritty, especially since this is technically inspired by true events. I want to see something that feels a little real sometimes. Like, is this really how situations work? Is this really how people are treated? Because that's very, very informative and educational on top of being entertaining. So.
Yeah, and it's that setting is always interesting with the police, the idea of police corruption. I mean, there's in America, we've had things like Serpico, and there was a TV series. This looks like a series. There was a TV series here called The Shield, not Agents of Shield, but The Shield, which was about corrupt police here in Los Angeles. Yeah. And it was so good. It was so street level.
Good.
And the interesting thing is, there's no moral ambiguity to these characters. They are bad guys, and they are the focus of the show. You follow the bad guys down into worse and worse bad guy stuff, and it was absolutely fascinating. And it, when characters like that ultimately get their comeuppance, in this case, you had been following this guy for the entire series, and when he got punished, you were like, yes. It was interesting. You're watching, you actually wanted him to get worse punishment because he was such a bad person, but you could not take your eyes off of this character.
And the thing is, it wasn't necessarily purely black and white. So you had like him doing some good things, but in doing those things, he was breaking the law and doing corrupt things. Now, just because you're killing another bad guy, but you're not letting, the court system take care of it, that still doesn't make you a good guy, even though you took out a bad guy. And they would do that all the time. And they stole from bad guys, and other people got killed because they stole and blamed other. It was a mess, and it was so good.
That's what happens when you get involved in crime. Just don't do it. Don't become a criminal. Just stop it.
It's not worth it.
If the mobsters come to the door and say, "Hey, you want to join our gang?" Say no.
Just say no to crime. So we have some posters. This is interesting because it has a sort of classic, almost kind of Indiana Jones adventure in a way.
Yeah, with that map in the background.
All gritty and, kind of distressed. But you can clearly see the division. I see they're probably dividing. You see the cops on one side because they had the uniforms, and you see the mob on the other side, and they're all dressed in normal clothes. And then they have a few teeny tiny women in the cast also. So you have that. But this is a nice poster. It's a nice device to have the gun right up through the middle.
Right.
So that's a really nice poster for a series on Netflix that's coming out, I think, November 25th, I believe. So that's just in time for American holidays when you just want to sit down and enjoy a good mob drama.
Yeah. It looks like an interesting gritty street level,
Yes.
crime drama, which I'm always there for. I'm always
Yes, love
into that idea, and especially when it's all the mob idea.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Why do we like that? Why do we like The Godfather and the Goodfellas and things like this with the mob? And I think it's because it's a whole nother world that we don't live in. I don't live in it,
Right.
I'm not the kind of person who is ever going to be an assassin, or I'm never going to rob a bank or extort someone or strong arm somebody into paying me,
That's right.
not me. And
No.
but it's interesting to watch it because it's like a different culture
Yeah.
that I guess exists in the real world. Maybe in some form, maybe the films kind of idealize it or fictionalize it in some ways. You wonder when you watch things like this, do they really have that sort of code of honor within the mob and all that? Or is that just fabricated? Are they really just bad guys, heartless, soulless, sociopathic bad guys who just want money,
Probably a little bit of both, because I
Yeah.
feel like the thing is we made so many movies about them, and we're talking about like the mob that was in New York and
Right.
Italian, and there's a level of glamour because they were all rich and dressed well, and it was the time, and there's the sort of nostalgic retroness of it,
Right.
and the power play between the different mobs, and
Yeah.
even Sopranos you bring it into a little less glamour, but it's still about the power and the money, and there's just something innately fascinating about that good versus evil, and is evil really evil? And how to make it kind of enticing. Like the mob's made look almost like, I could see getting into that.
And living on the edge like that. I mean, you wake up every morning knowing that somebody could come get you and your family.
Yeah. Oh, it could be
And-
just one thing. You never know.
Yeah.
I mean, it could be like it's not even you, but somebody committed some crime against some other mob boss. Now they're going to kill the second in command. You just never know.
Right. You're always living in that world, in that scary what if
High risk.
world.
So I'm interested in seeing a mob versus cops in a different culture in a different country, and that's why this is
Yeah.
fascinating to me, because it's a whole different level. So very excited to see this. It looks super juicy. Ready for it.
Yeah, it looks like a fun one. Looks like a good one.
Okay, guys, let us know what you think in the comments below. Be sure and subscribe, comment,
Yes.
and like.
All three of these things: like,
Those
subscribe, and
things.
comment.
And join our membership. We'd love for you to join
Yes.
the membership. You get the Slack channel, you get emojis, you get badges, you get to request videos. We're really trying to turn those out. They take a little more time, but we are really paying attention. But you get top priority if you're in the membership. We try and see people in the comments too, but members come first.
Yeah.
All right. See you guys
It's
next
fun.
time.
It's fun to be a part of a gang, isn't it?
Yeah, be part of the gang. See,
Isn't
it's
that
our
just-
mob. Be part
Yeah.
of the family. Be part of the crime mob family of Cinemondo.
I'm such a hypocrite. I'm talking about how bad it is, and then I say, "Hey, come join our gang."
Join our mob. I mean, gang. I mean, family.
It's a family. Yeah. Family is everything.
It is.
Don't ever go against the family.
Oh my God. Okay. Let us know what you think. Bye.